Hi there. Welcome to your Missoula City County Animal Shelter. My name is Mary Johnson. I've been an animal control officer for Missoula City County Animal Control for over 25 years. Over that time, I've seen the program change a lot. Today, we'd like to introduce you to our program and the faces and the people behind it, the happenings out here. There's a lot of misconceptions about Missoula Animal Control. We have a very professional program and a staff that cares very much about animals, and we'd just like for you to see that, the back happenings of it. Our mission statement is to promote responsible ownership through education and enforcement. Our statement of purpose is to provide humane care and safety for the public and all the animals in Missoula City or County. One misconception we find about Missoula Animal Control is that we have the typical Disney character of the officers out there with a big net scooping up the animals, taking them to the shelter, and then they're euthanized. At Missoula Animal Control, our statistics for adoption are great nationally, and so are the amount of animals that we actually do have to have euthanized. Gus here is a great example. Gus has actually been at our animal shelter since September of 2010. We've had animals here for almost a year looking for just the right placement. Gus came to us originally as a dog bite, but his owner used to hit him and encourage him to be mean. After taking time to get to know Gus, we have found out that he's a very playful dog, very lovable. But he will need to have special precautions at his new home. His new family will need to know that he is protective, and they also will need to know that he probably would be better off placed in a single home. But we're willing to take the time to find just that right placement so Gus can have a permanent home. And that's what we want, is a permanent home for each pet. One of the misconceptions people have, or problems they have with animal control, is that one of our responsibilities is enforcing the ordinances. A question that often comes up is dog licenses. Why do I have to license my dog? Where does that money go? You guys just want money. You're just asking for money. Well, Lola here is a good example. The licensing money goes back into the animal control program, which provides the animal control services. And we are able to help animals like Lola. Lola is currently being held at our facility. She was removed due to a cruelty case, and the court is pending charges, so she is being kept here. If we didn't have money coming back into the animal control program, we would not be able to offer the services such as investigating cruelty, enforcing ordinances like barking dogs, that type of thing. One of the other misconceptions we wanted to kind of talk to you about today is that Missoula City Animal Control is often confused with other organizations in Missoula. We often get asked, are you the Humane Society? Missoula is a very pet-friendly town, and they are blessed to actually have 3 organizations in Missoula that want to help the animals and the community. Ours is Missoula City Animal Control, and we enforce the ordinances. We're responsible for stray, abandoned, and impounded animals, and we're responsible for the animals when we adopt them out. You have the Western Montana Humane Society, and they have an adoption program themselves. They take in strays. They also take in owner release animals. And then we have Animals, which deals mostly with cats, but they take in owner release and also strays, and they also have their own adoption program. If you come to our shelter and walk through, you will see that we have an overabundance of animals. In this cat room alone, we have 36 cat cages, and they're pretty much all full, which they pretty much stay full all season long. And coming up now, coming into spring, we're going to have more cats and more kittens. A lot of people want to adopt an animal, but don't always want to adopt one that is spayed or neutered. And it actually is a state law that if you adopt an animal from an animal shelter, it has to be spayed or neutered. It also is our own ordinance here because there is a pet overpopulation program. A lot of people say, well, it's too expensive to get it done, but if you check with your local organizations such as Missoula Animal Control, they offer programs to assist you in that. Earlier we talked about the amount of time that we keep animals, and here Charles is a good example. Charles has also been here since last September. We see a higher percentage of cats at our shelter than we do dogs. What we want to do is encourage people. We have 36 cats in here, all which have had previous owners, but we have been unable to locate them. Any stray that comes in, we do advertise in the Missoulian. We also advertise them on our website, montanapets.org, and then we advertise them in the Missoulian when they're up for adoption. There are several different kinds of ID that you can put on your pet. A lot of people are reluctant to put a collar because they're afraid their cat's going to get caught. They do make a kind of collar that does release if it's caught on something. It breaks away or it stretches. But another form of ID that people may not be aware of is what's called microchipping. That is basically giving your animal a little shot right between the shoulders. It places a little chip in there. The important thing to remember about those is you do have to register them with the companies, but every animal that comes into animal control, we scan. So if they do have a microchip, we're able to call the company and get the cat or dog back to its original owner. Also, we mentioned about licensing. One important reason for licensing is also to keep your animals current on rabies shots. And cats are the same. Cats, you do not have to license cats in Missoula, but keeping them up to date on their rabies shots is very important. You would know if your animal tangled with a skunk, and you would know if your animal tangled with a raccoon, but you aren't going to necessarily know if your animal was bit by a bat. And in Missoula County, bats are one of the highest carriers of rabies. And not only is it a law to keep a current rabies shot on it, it's a safety measure for your pet and for your family. Now that we've given you a little bit more idea of how our animal control program works, we also like to give out suggestions. Obviously, all these animals are up for adoption. They're looking for a new home. And so if you happen to be in the market for a new pet, take time to come out and look at ours. Let us know what you're looking for, and we might be able to find the perfect match for you. We know that a lot of people want to help but aren't able to adopt an animal. Well, that's not a problem. There's lots of different ways to help your local animal shelter, animal control. We can take donations of cleaning supplies, litter. Obviously, we go through a lot of cat food, cat litter, dog food. If you give us a call, we can tell you which brands we prefer so it doesn't upset the dog's stomach. You can also donate to our animal control program, or we have a nonprofit group called Friends of the Shelter. They usually will help with medical care beyond what our county program allows us to do. They also help members in the community get their animals spayed or neutered. Or you can just come out and spend time with the animals, walk the dogs, pet the cats. The staff would love to spend time to just socialize and train them, but unfortunately we're so busy running the shelter, we don't always have that time. If you're interested in adopting an animal, the dogs are $75 and the cats are $60, and you think, well, that might kind of sound steep, but what you're receiving is a dog or cat that's already been spayed or neutered. It already has a distemper shot, a Bordetella shot if it's a dog, and it will already have a current rabies vaccination. You can see behind me what we're looking at now is the exercise yards. Many people are concerned that they feel the dogs are kept in the kennel and get no exercise. Well, contrary to that belief, we have exercise yards. Every single morning the dogs are let out so they can take care of business, stretch their legs, get a little bit of exercise while we take care of cleaning the kennel. Each kennel is cleaned every day. The dogs actually get let out 2 or 3 times a day. The cats obviously aren't allowed to go outside, but we do let them out of their cage and let them stretch. We do everything we can to make the animals stay here more comfortable, because if we make it more comfortable, then they adapt to being here better and are a better prospect of being adopted into a new home. And speaking of being adopted into a new home, we also have an exercise yard to my left. This has a dual purpose. What that is, if you come out here and you're interested in a particular pet, trying to get to know that pet in the noisy kennel is kind of difficult. So what we do is send you outside with the dog. You can let it run, see how it interacts with you and your family. And that's an important aspect to us because we want it to be a permanent adoption. It also serves the purpose that if you have an animal at home and you're concerned if the dog you're interested in here is compatible with your pet, we can take a staff member and bring the dog here out. You can bring your dog down and introduce the two and see if they would be compatible in your home. Well, hopefully through some of this information we've given you today, you were able to see a little bit behind the scenes as far as what happens at your local animal control facility. We are an enforcement agency, but we also like to work through and believe very much in educating people. We send officers into the school to educate about responsible pet ownership, and those are our future pet owners. We do bite prevention education with the meter readers and Mountain Water. We have pamphlets placed around town that have the laws, so it just lets people know what the ordinances are. And everybody has a disagreement about laws, but if you stop and step back, then you'll understand there's a reason for there. Those are designed to keep you, your pet, and the community safe. So education is the key, and at Missoula Animal Control we really like to stress that. If you have any questions or want to know more about a program, just give us a call, 541-7387.